anything that you have before we take public input?
No.
No? Okay. Public input.
Two questions. You just said the public hearing tonight for ZBA.
Uh-huh.
What's its subject? I haven't seen it.
Variance for Brian McPhee.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
because the Zimmerman one is on October 6th.
Yeah.
October 4th.
Fourth.
October 4th, Tuesday,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So make sure they haven't moved it. And the other question is, you mentioned that someone had already done this cutting, and that was mentioned, I think, in the previous meeting, and you're now just signing it. So is he fined or anything for this?
No, we checked with DRA, and she said there's nothing you can do about it now. Just sign the form and collect the taxes.
That's interesting, okay.
So, we signed the form.
That's happened before,
Yeah.
where the forest ranger negotiates for us.
I think she talked about that during your work session too, at the fire station.
Okay, no further input?
I have some questions.
Okay.
First of all, I want to report that my father, who lives in Maine, reported to me that he heard Chief Shigori on Maine Public Radio talking about how Maine is going to be voting on whether to allow recreational use of marijuana. And so the chief was giving his opinion on that, which is that if Maine allows that, then New Hampshire people are going to be going to Maine and bringing drugs back here. So he's against that idea. So anyway, he was representing us well on the radio. And then I also had a comment about you just did the preliminary budget on the direct assistance, which I think is a good thing. It's great that we have direct assistance. I wanted to talk about the money that we budget for various charities, and I brought this up with the budget committee, and I'll be more brief than I was at that meeting, but I really think it's inappropriate for the town to be spending money that is taken by force by taxes and then giving it to your preferred charities or Carla's preferred charities. I can and I do give my own money to charity, and I think that we should take the money that we give to charities like the Blue Loon bus service that actually goes to help people who live in Conway. If we take all of that money, which I think was about $40,000 that we give to charities, and if we instead allocate it for direct assistance, then if people need it, they apply for it, and it takes care of them, and they live in Tuftonboro, and we're helping Tuftonboro residents. I think that would be a more appropriate use of that money. So I just wanted to ask you to keep that in mind. And then you also mentioned about the fees for the New Hampshire retirement program. And I had read recently that the New Hampshire retirement program assumes a rate of yearly return of I think it was something crazy, like even 7.75%, but definitely north of 7%. And that is literally insane because it's not going to happen. And that's why the fees are going up, because to compensate for the complete inability for a fund to accrue that much return, they have to raise the fees. And the retirement program in Illinois, which we all know is a basket case, that only assumes somewhere in the 6s, which also is completely unreasonable. So I guess what I'm wondering is, why are we involved in this retirement system? Are we required to, as a municipality, for certain? I know the police officers and Chief Thompson, they have, we pay for their pension through that, but are we required to? Because that system is going to go bankrupt. Maybe not for another 10 years or 20 years, but that is literally insane to pretend that it's going to be bringing back over 7% returns yearly. About Clay's white paper, did anyone contact the woman that he gave the contact information for the place where they're actually doing it? And would you please contact her and speak to her before you discuss whether to, before you discuss his proposal, since obviously she'll have some relevant information for you to consider. So will you please contact her? He gave her contact information. Are you going to contact her? Or are you just not going to consider his proposal, or? I mean, if you're not going to consider his proposal, obviously you
We're
don't.
gonna consider his proposal. Whether or not we're gonna contact her, I don't know.
Okay, well, I think that you should contact her if you're going to consider his proposal. That's, based on what she's actually running. So it just seems like you should talk to her. Would you please allow relevant public comment during department updates in a structured way that you can lay down the rules, and you can, if somebody strays off topic, you can say, no, that's not relevant, keep that to the end, during department updates and before relevant votes. Again, relevant comment and question based on what is being discussed. And if somebody strays off topic, then you control the meeting and you can say, wait until the end. Will you please do that? Yes or no?
No.
Will you please have at least one meeting per month at 6:30 p.m. when more people could come if they wanted to come and be involved? Yes or no?
That's a vote of the board.
That's not what you said on the 13th. You said that it was your decision as the chair.
No, I did not. I said I eliminated all questions as the chair. I did not say I will not do that. Have a night meeting as the chair. No.
Madam Chairman,
Mm-hmm.
there's been 4 or 5 times when I've come to you and he's come to you, can we change the time of our meeting? Or we've changed it because we need to
We've
speak
all
to
agreed
someone
to
early.
change it.
And we negotiate that, and you've allowed that conversation, and you've gone along with any reasonable request. Please continue to lead the way you're being a leader now.
Yeah. I never said that we wouldn't have that. That's not my decision, that's a board decision.
Okay, well, I just asked if the board would have one meeting in the evening when more people could come, if they wanted to come. You could vote on it right now. One meeting a month. 6:30 p.m.
Does tonight count as one?
Yeah.
25 to 7, so.
I might be here at 9:30, 10
We need that quota.
Okay.
I'm not done.
Anything else?
When did the board vote for the final property list that will be sold at auction?
Anybody have a date?
I remember we did, but not at the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I don't know.
You just said that it was your decision who gets to talk during the meeting, right? That was what.
I
was
said
what you
that the
said.
board there was no discussion of the board. We had contacted council, and I took his advice, and I eliminated questions during our meeting. No public input until the end of the meeting.
And when did the majority of the board vote to give the chair the authority to have that authority?
When I voted for her. When I nominated her as my chairman, she runs the meetings. Just like I ran the meetings when she nominated me as chair.
Could I ask you to check with Rick Sager about that? I don't think that's the way it works. The chair only has the authority that has been expressly given to the chair by a majority vote in a duly noticed, properly noticed public meeting, a vote that's recorded.
I would like to make a motion to not allow public input during our meeting and only at the end. Can I have a second?
For purposes of discussion, I'll second that.
Second.
On discussion,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very pleased with that motion. I have no problem supporting that. In the past, if for some reason a group of people want to come in and we sort of have a mini hearing or something, you've always been flexible, I've always been flexible. If for some reason there's a practical exception or some type of emergency, you as chairman have my support using your good judgment. Does that make sense?
Well, apparently everything we do needs some kind of motion. Even though that as chairman, I do run the meeting.
I have no complaint with
And
even
if
running the
I
meeting.
hear from council that you cannot allow one person to speak and not another, then I eliminate and make it fair for everybody.
Yes, the case law is very clear on that.
Exactly. So
It's unfortunate, but unfortunately, we have to operate that way, yes.
Exactly, exactly.
You're well within your bounds. I move the question.
Okay,
So,
all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you for making that official.
Mhm.
So just to verify, Rick Sager told you that it was illegal to allow one person to ask
He didn't
questions?
say
And
it was illegal.
what did he say?
He said that you really shouldn't do that, allow one person, even though we are just, it is not a conversation, it's a clarification by a reporter. He advised that we shouldn't do that.
Case law is very explicit on it.
Carolyn, are you running for re-election? Yes or
I don't
no?
know.
Don't know. Thank you.
Motion to move into non-public for RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, letter C, reputation, to continue our conversation on the tax deed of property.
I second.
All in favor?
Marcus and I.
Yes?
Yes.
Thank you.